1 year ago, we took a look back at Budokai 1. Today, we take a look at the 2003 sequel, in which critics deemed underwhelming. So let's talk about it. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's cut into the intro. What's going on, Travel Pack? It's your boy Alpha Mal 926, aka Malsauce 926, and we're back for another episode of Dragon Ball Sunday. And as you know, we're here to talk about Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, which released in North America on December 4th, 2003 for PS2. A whole year later, it would release on GameCube also on December 15th, 2004. Now, for the original release, it was only a year after the original Budokai. So, we know that Budokai left a little bit to be desired, especially when it comes to how far the story mode went, the character selection, and we figured that the sequel would suit that up a little bit. But how far would they go? Like I said before, a lot of critics did deem it underwhelming, but me personally, I did enjoy Budokai 2. I still do. One of my favorite Dragon Ball games, to be honest, is in the top 5 for me personally. But before we get into that, let's talk about a few things that did return from Budokai 1 and made their appearance in Budokai 2. Of course, we got dual mode. We can do the 1v1 with a friend, couch co-op, or just one versus computer. Have a good time with that. Get your training in, which also brings in the training mode, which is also still in the game. Practice. You can make the computer not do anything. Just practice your combos, your moves, and everything. Then you have the World Tournament, of course. In all this glory, it returns with the 3 difficulties: Novice, Adept, and Advanced. More enemies, harder difficulty at each level. You win Zenny for the returning. Skill shop. Of course, you need Zenny for the skill shop so you can get more moves, breakthroughs, different attacks. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, you can do like a double stack on like a Kamehameha, and you can make the energy beam a little bit more powerful. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, one game mode that didn't make a return, The Legend of Hercule, which, understandable. But man, I did truly love playing The Legend of Hercule. If they would have had another one in there, I don't know what they would have done with it specifically, but I wouldn't mind it making a return. But in its place, we did get Bobity's spaceship. Now, to unlock Bobity's spaceship, you have to collect all 7 Dragon Balls and make the wish with Shenron at the end of the story mode. Jump into story mode later. Trust, we're gonna get there. The objective in Bobity's spaceship is to get as much Keely as possible, which is basically the energy that they had to get to resurrect Majin Buu. Canon-wise, there's 4 different stages. Stage 1, you want to defeat an opponent as many times as you can. The enemy only has 1 health bar, and you have your standard 3. But every time you beat them, Bobby will revive them, and you got to keep going for as long as you can until your health completely depletes, and they'll give you as much Keely. I'm not sure what the overall amount is they give you, but obviously the further you go, the more you get. Stage 2. It's about survival and endurance. Last as long as possible. Your opponent takes no damage, so there's no chance for you to even start to try to fight them or anything. Just survive as long as you can. As long as you survive, again, the more Keely you get. Stage 3 is all about offense. Hit your opponent as many times as you can within the time limit. Stage 4, which is basically the easiest one. Shoot a key blast and make it bounce back in between you and your opponent for 100 seconds, as many times as you can. That, I do believe, was kind of based off of the Goku and Phantom Vegeta training in Budokai 1 that you do when you're on your way to Namek. I think that's kind of where that stemmed from. Now, what is also crazy, you can do this with 2 players. The challenges are slightly different, but overall still the same. And you do still get the Keely. Now, speaking of that, use that to unlock various skills and characters. Like, for example, Deborah, Majin Buu, Super Buu, Kid Buu. Speaking of characters, let's talk about the roster, shall we? Budokai 1 had a total of 23 characters. Budokai 2 upped it a little bit and had a total of 34. You get all the classic characters: Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta, Trunks, Frieza, Cell, just to name a few. We added more characters and transformations. For example, Goku could now use the Super Saiyan 2 and 3 transformation. A new character, Adult Gohan, he has Super Saiyan 2, and his Elder Kai ability unlocked. Wish they didn't call him Mythic Gohan yet. Again, I think that's the name we ended up giving him. But in the game, they called it Elder Kai ability unlocked. You got Goten, Trunks, Videl, Supreme Kai, and the others that I mentioned earlier from Bobby's spaceship, of course. Fusions get introduced, like Gotenks and Vegeta. Also, they got what-if characters, like Tien Cha, and Goku, which is a fusion between Tien and Yamcha and Goku and Hercule, respectfully. Then you have Super Buu, and boy, did they go wild with this man. This man has not only the regular absorb of Gotenks and Gohan, he can absorb Piccolo, Vegeta, Cell, Frieza, Tien, and Yamcha. Wild. That's super wild to me, but it made for some interesting absorptions because I do believe that they were random. Sometimes you'll do the move and you wouldn't know who you're going to absorb, so it's kind of like a Russian roulette. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was just actually terrible. Even with the roster being upped a little bit, we did lose a few characters. Nobody super important, but we lost like Android 19, Deborah, Zarbon, and King Gohan. But like I say, none of those characters are super important. But hey, you don't want to be losing characters when you go into a sequel. Just give us everybody, let us have it all. But it's alright. Now, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of Budokai 2 with quite possibly one of my personal favorite story modes, Dragon World. One major thing about Dragon World, unlike Budokai 1, this story goes from Raditz all the way to Kid Buu. Now, it did have a lot of twists and turns along the way. The most polarizing thing about Dragon World, it's a complete shift from going to a fully animated cutscenes to a board game. Some of you may think a board game, but listen, y'all, it truly, in my mind, was ahead of its time. A lot of the Dragon Ball games these days, a lot of people look forward to the what-if stories. Your own different version of the canon with this. Of course, you got Goku as the main piece of the board, but you get to bring a couple different characters with you. Like you can have a Gohan, a Vegeta, Trunks, Supreme Kai, so on and so forth. Great Saiyaman even makes an appearance. But hey, it's fun, y'all. Truly, I will never get tired of putting this mode over. Back to the fact of it being switched. There's certain parts of the story that you get cutscenes, mainly with Goku, that when you run into the character, you'll see the in-game models, which I forgot to mention are also cell shaded now, by the way, which you probably already seen in all of the footage that I put on here, but I'm just now bringing it up. My bad. Anyhow, when Goku goes across certain characters, they'll have a little interaction and they'll talk to each other. Every now and then, other pieces will also talk to other ones, but you won't see them all the time on screen. Sometimes it'll just be like Piccolo says something that you gotta read. But every now and then, certain characters, I think Vegeta, I can't remember exactly who Vegeta talks to, but I think maybe like a Majin Buu or something like that. And each one of them has 5 bars, aka 5 lives, next to them. But each one doesn't start with 5. Goku will have 3, Gohan will have like 2. Character like Goten and Kid Trunks, they'll have like 1. But there is a spot on the board that you can go to that's Dende, and when you land on that spot, he will give you another bar. You can go there as many times as you want, but you gotta be careful. If your piece is around that spot and the enemy comes that way, they'll also get a new life. So you gotta kind of be strategic about your spots and where you get on the board, because your enemies do try to chase you on there. Also, another reason you want to be strategic with the people that you pick, sometimes you can get someone, for example, again, Goku, Gohan. When they get on the same spot with each other, they'll give each other like either between a 10 to a 20% buff. So it'll make them either stronger or give them a little bit more health. However, opposite end of that spectrum, if the characters don't mix with each other, for example, Vegeta and Yamcha, you'll get a negative debuff from 10 to 20%. So you gotta kind of be thoughtful of who you having on the board and where you're going. Now let's go ahead and jump into story. Now the foundation of Dragon World is what you know as canon. You know, the Saiyans, Frieza, Buu. That's the stableness of the story itself. But they decided to do their own interpretation of it. And for me personally, having that be as unique as it is, because now when we look back on it, we've played through the regular Dragon Ball Z story so many times at this point that early on we didn't get the chance to really appreciate the fact that they decided to do a unique spin on it, and it kind of made Budokai 2 not having its worth be realized. Now, the first level starts off half the way that you expect, and the other half, they just didn't understand why it was coming. Now, Raditz is there, as usual, but he's not by himself. He has Cyberman with him, and Nappa for some reason. No idea why, and there's no Vegeta. I feel like maybe they could have just threw all three of them at us at one time, and it would have made a little bit of sense, but they said, to hell with that, let's switch it up a little bit. Once you get through Cyberman, break your way path through so you can get to Nappa and Raditz. Their pieces do move. The Cybermen are usually just set pieces on the map. They're not even look like the average piece, which you'll see in the video. They're just kind of dug through the ground, and their head is sort of popping out of it. You go there, clear that spot, move on to Nappa and Raditz. After that, once they're disposed of, you get to level 2, which has Captain Ginyu, Raccoon, and Frieza. Still no Vegeta. And this is on a snow map for some reason. Why? Again, don't know. Their own interpretation, but hey, I like it. You can either decide 2 ways to play. 1, defeat everything on the board. That helps you unlock skills, characters, things like that, which is important. Last time I played through, I had mostly everything unlocked, so my plan is usually to send Goku straight to Frieza. Let whatever characters I have on screen handle Ginyu and Raccoon. Sometimes I don't even fight them at all. Sometimes I get 1 or 2 in. Sometimes they run up on my Goku and just jump me, and then I got onto his butt to fight. It's different every time. Also, don't know if I touched on it yet, don't think I did. Dragon Radar is on the map. You can move and get that, find out which spot has the Dragon Ball. If it's on a spot that you land on and you stay there for the next turn and press square, it'll dig. You'll see Goku like dig on the ground and find the Dragon Ball. Other people will just kind of look down there like they're searching for it, and then they'll pick the Dragon Ball up. That's how you get the Dragon Ball, so you can do your wishes at the end of the story mode, and you have to complete the story mode in order to do it. Once you have all 7, you just have them until the end. Also, there's attack up, like swords, armors to give you defense buffs. Your enemy pieces can also do the same exact thing. They can get the Dragon Ball, they can get the Dragon Radar, they can get the buffs, and if they get it, then you just lose out on it, and then you're screwed until the next playthrough, to be honest with you. So you kind of want to do it as quickly as you can, get it done, and get that main character out of there. Once you get the main character out of there, even if there's other pieces on the board, it instantly goes to the next level. So once you beat Frieza here, he goes to the spaceship, flies to planet Namek. Finally, you get to Namek, and finally, Vegeta's there. Ginyu Raccoon is back. Obviously, Frieza. Main objection is to get Frieza the fuck up out of there. Decide how you want to do that on your own. But I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, if you beat Vegeta, however many life bars he has, Once you beat him, he should turn to an ally piece. You can use him to fight Frieza, Ginyu, Recoome, and all that too there. Take Frieza out, get off planet Namek before it explodes.
Darn it all! I warn you, if it comes to me being killed by you, then I'd rather die by my own hand. But I am not going to die. You are the ones who will. I'm going to destroy this planet!
Yikes! If I don't get out of here soon, the whole planet's going to explode! Here it is! With this spaceship, I'll escape from planet Namek.
Instead, get back to Earth and you fight Dr. Gero and his Cyber Rangers, which is just colorful Cybermen. Why you call them that? Don't know. Are they supposed to be robots? Maybe. Guess that's why they're different colors. But I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Who are you?
I am Dr. Gero, the scientist of the Red Ribbon Army, which you destroyed.
He never says that.
Red Ribbon Army?
That's right. Thanks to you, the Red Ribbon's dream of world domination was wiped out, and only I remain.
Bulma told us in the anime, but
since then,
he never
I
just flat out
continued
says
my
that to Goku, though.
Come!
This video give me different colors and the Cyberman to fight on the way. Crazy.
Cyberman?
I've selectively bred this sample to create my elite unit.
Oh, no!
Now go, my Cyber Rangers!
Only has one bar, so he's super easy. Once you defeat Gero, you're surrounded instantaneously in 3 spots by Android 16, 17, and 18. I need to get to them. They was not that hard to beat. Every now and then you get kind of like a little spike in difficulty with the characters, which is something that people usually did not like and disagreed with. Every now and then certain characters, and I do think the Android was part of it, once you run through Dr. Gero, it's like 17, 18, and 16, they're slightly harder because there's no way for you to set the difficulty of Dragon World, at least to my knowledge. But at certain points, certain characters, they just get otherworldly defense. They're blocking everything and you're trying to break through their defense, which you really can't. It's sometimes a little unfair, to be honest with you, but at the same time, once you stick to it and you wait to that opening when they're trying to either hit you and you can either slide to the left, right, or back up a little bit and hit them with something and open that window, it's kind of like you got to be strategic with the fight, obviously, but some people deem it as being unfair, and that's kind of another hit that Dragon World and Budokai 2 as a whole took, and why they felt like it just wasn't that good of a sequel. But truthfully, it's really not that bad, y'all. I recommend you go and try it, truth be told. But after you get through the androids, Cell pops in instantaneously in his perfect form, because the 17 and 18 piece moves to like the end of the map, or board rather, and you see a little aura pop up there, and then Cell, he comes in, cuts his promo, and then the Cell Juniors pop in, and then you got to fight them and beat Cell. You don't have to have Gohan on your team. Gohan doesn't come in as a piece just because Cell's there, so you can just go quit all the way if you want to. However, later on in the story, there is certain parts where certain characters instantaneously pop in. In a way, it's kind of reflecting the story a little bit, but not all the way. I'll touch on that in a little bit. Once you finally defeat Cell, the next map is Supreme Kai, who only has one bar, and once you beat him, I do believe he becomes an ally piece. After you beat him, Babidi and Dabura pop in with Majin Buu's egg, and then there's another little deviation at this point. This man Babidi does eventually decide he's going to revive Cell and Frieza and make them Majins.
The whole new way for the Dragon Ball story do like this board game stuff, bro. I really do enjoy it.
Oh, have I been brought back to life?
Majin Cell is crazy. Crazy. Crazy.
What is this?
These guys inflict damage on their opponents.
Inflicting damage on them.
And the whole reason for doing that is to stop you from getting to the egg. Also, it gives you kind of an objective. If you do 3 fights, the egg will hatch on that map, and I think you'll have to fight Majin Buu there and on the next one. But usually, typically, I get up there with Goku pretty fast, beat the egg. I'll show you what I mean by that, because that sounded real crazy. And then on to the next level.
It can't be. How has this happened?
You aren't getting away, Bobbity.
Once you get to the next level, Cell's gonna be there, Frieza's gonna be there, Bobbity, Boo, and I think the board is still there as well. But then Vegeta also pops in. Once he pops in, he's basically Majin Vegeta, and you can fight him or attempt to avoid him. And then I think after the first 2 to 3 turns, the Boo piece will move to where Bobbity is, and he takes out the Bobbity piece.
Do you want? Die, you dummy!
Seeing the board piece hit him right there is hilarious.
Which effectively takes the Majin powers away from Vegeta, Cell, and Frieza, even though the pieces are still on the board. But the surprise of that part is, even though Vegeta's an enemy piece at that point, he will still move to where Majin Buu is, and he sacrifices himself like he did in the anime and explodes.
Now he's gonna double back.
I am the one who released Majin Buu. I will be the one to deal with him. Majin Buu!
What?
I am not going to die alone. I'm going to take you with me.
I don't remember this
Farewell,
happening.
Bulma, Trunks, and even you, Kakarot. Wah!
I'm telling you, I've never seen this, bro. What is this? And I played this game so many times, bro. Now you gonna run him around like that? That might be wild.
But when Majin Buu regenerates, instead of it still being a regular Buu, he instantly turns into Super Buu, and that takes us to the next map, which is the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Once you get to the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, again, Frieza and Cell are there. But this time, Buu can move to where Cell and Frieza are and absorb them. So at certain fights, it could be Buu with Frieza absorbed or Buu with Cell absorbed.
Is he gonna absorb Frieza? Oh shit! I forgot that happens, man. No shot, he can absorb both of them?
I think I'll take it.
What?
Hey, yo, Boo. And nigga say, I like your head. I'll take that. What? Depends on which one he gets first, but he can effectively absorb both of them. And I think if he gets to both of them, he does have powers from both of them. It's not just like one or the other. It mixes up when he gets both of them anyway. Also on the map, you have Goten and Trunks to do the fusion to become Gotenks. Piccolo's already on the map, and I think you have Goku and maybe one more character that you can bring with you. Boo beats Gotenks. He will absorb Gotenks, but if you beat Boo, you get out the level, but he still has Gotenks absorb when you get to the next level, which is like kind of like the city level.
Now, I'm going...
No shot! Oh my god.
This is a moment that will likely never
This has never
come
happened
again.
before.
The birth of the mightiest...
And in that point, You have Goku and whoever you decide to bring with you. You can't bring Vegeta because obviously he sacrificed his piece in the previous level, which is Great Canon. So you can have maybe, I think I had Great Saiyaman when I did it. Gohan is there. Supreme Kai is there because he brought Gohan back since Kibito's not in the game. Eventually, after maybe, I'm gonna say 3 to 4 turns again, Vegeta piece pops in. And if you want to see Vegito, you got to get Vegeta and Goku's pieces to get on the same spot. They'll do the fusion, and then you can get Vegito. Gohan doesn't necessarily have to be beaten by Buu or anything, so you can miss seeing Buuhan completely. But Gotenks absorb Buu, or Buu-Tanks rather. His difficulty spikes when you fight him with Gohan. So it's almost smart enough to keep Gohan away from him, and you can fight Buu-Tanks with Vegito and make it easier on yourself, because as soon as you try to fight him with Gohan, that man is completely different. It's night and day. I'm not gonna lie. Try it if you don't believe me. Fight him regularly with Gohan and then fight him with like Vegito or Goku or something like that. The difficulty is not the same at all.
Coming in now. Oh,
That rotten
let's go.
Supreme Kai. Does he think he can use me?
That energy.
Vegeta.
Vegeta! All right!
Kakarot!
There isn't any time. Vegeta, quickly!
Why?
If you put this on too, you and I can... A warrior of unbelievable power will be born.
Merge with you. Don't be...
If I were you, I'd probably say the same thing too. This is the only thing we can do if we want to beat Buu.
No.
Vegeta, Trunks has been absorbed by that guy. Vegeta!
Give it to me. Like this.
Thank you, Vegeta!
Let's see. Oh, they say it's got tossed. I don't know why did you go all the way there? And now Supreme Kai's is over there.
All right.
But if you can avoid Gohan getting absorbed, get Vegito, cakewalk. And lastly, get to the last level to go against Kid Buu. And then everybody's on the damn map. You got Cyberman, Cell, Junius, Cell and Frieza's back. And then you got a certain spot with Kid Buu that you have to get on these Popo landing points, which is like kind of like a little flying carpet thing, and it'll teleport you to certain parts of the map, and you gotta land on the right one to get to the Kid Buu where he is in like a little star box situation. Beat him, and that's the end of the story mode.
Hell yeah, Vegeta! Final Flash! Get his ass!
Now, you're finished.
I'm on Vegeta.
Final Flash!
Yes! Yes, Vegeta! That's what I'm about. Hell yeah! Let's go! Get the fuck out of there! That's what I'm talking about! That's what I'm talking about! That's what I'm talking about! Get his ass the fuck up out of there! Goku, Vegeta! That's what I'm talking about!
Collect all the Dragon Balls, you're able to make your wish.
You don't get too many Shenron sightings in the Dragon Ball games we playing, so this is nice.
You who have gathered the 7 Dragon Balls,
That'll be me.
I shall grant you any one thing from among these.
I'm pretty sure all this I probably already got, but did you tell me this is the only thing that I don't have on here? Is fucking breakthrough for Android 16 to give Android 16 all his shit? This the only thing I don't have?
Very well.
That man said anything from among these. That nigga gave me a option. And then you can unlock either breakthroughs for characters or, again, Bobby's spaceship. Now at this point, we went through a pretty fast, condensed outline of the story mode. Talked about Bobby's spaceship, world tournament a little bit, training mode, all of that. Now, At this point, talked about everything that the game had to offer. It has this replay value because certain things can happen that didn't happen before. For example, the last time I played through this, what was it, a year or two ago, and more recently you can see the playthrough that I did when I put all of it together before this video this week of me playing through the story mode. But I had never seen Vegeta sacrifice himself on the board and turn Majin Buu into Super Buu. That's the first time I ever seen that, because usually I would get into it with Vegeta so much that Vegeta would be going off the board, and that wouldn't even happen. So I would have to just go and fight Majin Buu regularly to get to the next board. So the replay value is mostly in story mode, in Babidi Spaceship, to unlock everything and different moves and skills for the characters. Like I say, the absorption from Super Buu is locked to Babidi Spaceship, so you're gonna replay that a lot there. But a thing that to this day still bothers me, not necessarily about Budokai 2, but on November 2nd, right around the same time that Budokai 2 actually came out, 2012, they released the HD collection of Budokai 1 and Budokai 3. They left Budokai 2 out. I'm not 100% sure why that is. Maybe in post I'll find that reason and I'll post it here so we can talk about it, but not even talk about it, but so you can read it. But that's kind of what made me, I guess, appreciate and like Budokai 2 even more than I already did, because obviously everybody loves Budokai 3, which we will talk about at some point in time. Everybody played Budokai 1. That was like everybody's first, main Dragon Ball game, besides like, Game Boy Advance, stuff like that. But that gray area of Budokai 2 always like turned me, and I just didn't understand like why this game wasn't more appreciated. Because again, so many years later, I can look on the internet and I can see complaints talking to people saying, oh, we played through the Dragon Ball Z story so many times, why can't be different? Let's add more what ifs to the games, more what if characters. Truthfully, when you think about it, Budokai 2 was sort of the foundation of all of that. It had the story mode that had the regular canon as its foundation, but it found a way to make it different. Sure, it wasn't animated, whatever. But truthfully, it was something different. That's something that we will look forward to. And I think if a lot of people that never played Budokai 2 went back and played it, you will find more of appreciation for it. Now, before we get out of here, certain things I want to throw out, just 2 caveats. The action mostly stayed the same. The moves, the punch energy, do the Kamehameha, even though you can stack it and make the Kamehameha a little bit bigger. One thing I'm also very happy about, the fact that Goku's Kamehameha is blue in this game. Thank goodness for that. One of the things that most people would complain about Budokai 2 is the fact they didn't kind of update the fighting system. It's kind of the same from Budokai 1, which truthfully, foundational wise, it really is. It's not really too much of a difference. Like I said, computers do a lot more blocking in Budokai 2 than in any of the other iterations, 1 or 3. However, they did add certain moves, like there's a continuous Kamehameha is what it's called for Goku. And when him in the air and they knock him down, he shoots energy blast. But you can spam the analog stick in a circle, and if you charge it all the way, he shoots out 1 extra blast at the end. I think Vegeta has one too, but I can't think of the name of what his is. In Budokai 1, they kind of just do the blasts out, and that was it. There's a move called, I want to say, one is Zenku Fist for Goku, if I'm not mistaken. Do it off the top of the dome. You can knock them down, and this becomes more prominent in Budokai 3 as well. Once you hit the move, you can see the directional pad pop up on the screen, and it has square, circle, X, triangle. And if you press it, you want to press it differently than your opponent. If you press it differently than your opponent, you'll get the hit. If y'all match, the opponent will move out the way. Again, like I said, that foundation is what's also in Budokai 3. When you do, I think, the Dragon Rush in there, you gotta match the buttons or differentiate the, the buttons to do certain moves and things of that nature. That starts here. Without the foundation of this, it's not in there. Also, fusions. Like I told you before, fusions are in the game. You gotta press the right buttons in order to do the fusion. You can mess up the fusion and then your character does not be who they're supposed to be. That's also here. Truthfully, even though Budokai 3 overall is technically a better game, Budokai 2's foundation made Budokai 3 what it is. Without that, would we have got there? Maybe. But they had to see if it worked first in order to add on to it and make it even better. Again, gotta appreciate Budokai 2, y'all. I can't say it enough. Now, I told y'all earlier that Budokai 2 is actually one of my favorites. And that rings true to this day. I recently watched the whole playthrough that I did recently, released last week. And I was just like, man, I want to replay through it again. So maybe I'll do that on stream at some point in time. But truthfully, man, it's fun. It's really, really fun. And I don't think it gets the appreciation or the recognition that it deserves. Yes, it's not perfect. It's not the perfect sequel at all. But to say it's underwhelming or it's bad or it's so bad it didn't deserve to be in the HD collection is insane to me. Because truthfully, I was able to sit with my father and play this game, and I'll be like, hey, I'll be Goku or you'll be Goku. I pick the other character and we can sit here and play this for a little bit with each other. I don't get to have that anymore these days. And that's kind of like a memory that I always hold on to. And that's another reason why, yeah, nostalgia plays a big factor in my enjoyment of this game. But at the same time, I can still sit, plug this game up, my PS2, plug it up, play it, and have a great time. And truthfully, I think that's what I'm going to do, y'all. So at some point, I'm going to lock this bad boy in right now. So y'all hear it first. I'm going to replay through all of Budokai 2. I will maybe be Goku. And I'm going to let my wife be one of the pieces on the board, and we can just play, man, and have a good time with the board. Try to get to the same spots with each other. See who lasts the longest. If she goes out, there's just me on my own. I don't know, man. It just sounds like something that could be super fun, man. So let me know if y'all are interested in even seeing that. And truthfully, y'all, that brings us to an end of this video. This has truly been one of the hardest videos I had to make because I procrastinated for so long and I didn't want to leave out stuff, and I probably still did. So if I did, feel free to tell me about it in the comment section and we can chop it up about it. Maybe I'll make a part 2, but overall there's going to be a part 3 to this at some point anyway, in which we'll talk about Budokai 3. A lot more to talk about there because then there's movie stuff and GT and things of that nature. And speaking of more stuff, you know, in the Japan version, they had Karuza. Not a fan made, but Akira Toriyama kind of drew it as Frieza's son or something like that. Crazy work. Only in the Japan version. And then there's a V2 version of Budokai 2. I'm not sure what specifically that is. That also has Cooler. Crazy stuff. But, you know, I just thought, why not just mention that at the end of the video just to, you know, give y'all a tidbit of information if you didn't know it. 9 times out of 10, if you're watching this, you probably know basically all of this. And it just boiled down to the fact of just hearing it from another source or want to know what I thought about it. Also, before we get out of here, I should also say that Metacritic gave it a 66 out of 100. That's not great. I think a 66, I think that's a D. I believe, I could be wrong. Been a while. But overall, it sold pretty well. 1.5 million copies in the US. In Japan, 584K. Not bad, man. Not gonna lie. It's about 2 million, maybe 2.12 million, something like that. Not bad. But truthfully, y'all, man, at the end of the day, enjoy what you enjoy, y'all. That's what this boils down to. Critics can say that these games are bad, that they suck, they're terrible, they don't deserve remakes, whatever. But it's about the memories you have with them, the fun you have with them, and just that time where you can just sit and lose yourself in the game and you're not worried about all the complexities of life and the way things are going. And truthfully, That's why we all love video games. And with that being said, y'all, thank you all for being here. Hope you enjoyed your Sunday. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button again, because we on that road to 1K. I appreciate you all. I love you all. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.